Joe Zikas from YoChicago. I'm sitting here at neighborhood Whole Foods on Halstead with Tim Brent, who's the owner, proprietor of Chicago Apartments and Condos. Let's talk about condos.
Okay.
People want to rent a condo because they think they might get a better deal or get more stable. What kind of risks does a tenant take on when they're dealing with one of the other rental services besides you and looking to rent a condo?
Probably the biggest hurdles you have is just not knowing what it takes to move into a condo. There are elevator fees. Sometimes they're refundable, sometimes they're not. There are normally companies run Thomas reports, which is a sort of a credit report on steroids in a sense. And Thomas reports run $125 to $165. Well, a lot of times the tenant's responsible for that. The landlord might split it or he might not. There may be a $200 move-in fee. And it goes back to the sense that...
And a move-out fee.
And a move-out fee.
Both ways.
But when people from my company are showing a condo, I think part of the thing up front should not only be when it's available and what the rent is, but also...
Large pet deposits in some of the buildings.
Or no pets at all.
Or no pets at all.
You might see a dog in the lobby, but it belongs to an owner, and they don't let renters, or this condo owner that rents this condo doesn't want a dog. And so you see a dog walking through the building, and a rental agent who doesn't know says, oh yeah, they take dogs, there's one right there. And so, a month or 6 weeks later or whatever, they get ready to move in and the owner doesn't want a dog. And so that comes from just basic knowledge of experience, of knowing, because I want to tell someone up front, listen, it's a $200 move-in fee. The condo association charges it, that's what it is. If you want to live here, that's what it takes. And not necessarily that harsh, but they need to know it. They don't need to know 4 or 5 weeks later when they move in that they don't have it. Also too, in condo buildings, in our application we have we have an application, we have a work order which tells you what the landlord's going to do and not do. And if you want to request other stuff, it lets him know what you're expecting, also to clean the carpet or to paint. Just puts everyone on the same page. We have an employment verification and a landlord verification. It's 4 pages. Some of these high-rise buildings on Lakeshore Drive might have a 30 or 40-page packet of the do's and don'ts they want you to sign before you move in, what you can and what you can't do. And none of it is out of the ordinary. But the person sitting in the leasing office or the management office has been hired by that building to get this paperwork filled out. And if a lot of times, the first thing we'll do when we get a listing is we'll make sure we've got the recent condo packet from the company to introduce ourselves again to whoever's there. We've got this unit for rent. Has the owner told you he's wanting to rent it? A lot of times he hasn't. What are your procedures? What do you need? Are they going to need a board meeting? When is the board meeting? Some boards you have to meet them. They only meet once a month. If they meet on the 3rd Tuesday and you rent an apartment on the 3rd Wednesday, it's going to be a month before you find out you've been approved for that apartment. And
a lot of the inexperienced companies just are totally oblivious.
The companies don't know it. Of course, the agents wouldn't know it. And to me, those are my frustrations with it. To me, I'll tell someone, listen, we can tell you that, if you meet these criteria and fill out all this paperwork, that the board will probably take you, but we can't guarantee you that until they meet and sign off on it. And to me, I want them at that point to decide, it's their decision, whether they want to wait a month or not. And again, that's an extreme, but whether they want to wait 2 weeks to be approved. And so if they know this up front, it's the honest thing to do.
Now, in today's market too, running a condo, you're running a risk that your owner is going to be foreclosed on, and you're going to you're going to be out on the street. Have you seen any of that recently?
I've not seen it personally. I, of course, have heard the horror stories. We've been doing a lot of business lately where we're renting foreclosures for banks, and where the bank will rent it while it's in foreclosure until they get it through all the processes, because it can take up to a year, let's say. And we'll rent it to people, usually get them a better price, but let them know, listen, this thing is going to be sold to a new owner That new owner may keep you as a tenant, or he may not.
Aren't they so they're not subject to a lease that extends beyond the sale, or
that what you should do? Yes, you could be, but what they have been doing in the foreclosures and what you've been doing lately is you'll write the lease that says we'll give you a 60-day notice to move out with it. But the backside of that is a lot of times the new owner buying it is buying it as an investment property, and he'll keep the tenant. But also too, they'll probably save $100, $150 a month. You know, I've got some condos that we've been renting for like $850 for owners. When we rent one from the bank, we're renting it for $700. And so,
and what was your phone number again?
it's true. We don't have enough of them. The problem is they go really fast. But the flip side of that is, when this sells, you may have to move. It's not a one-year lease. But again, we do everything up front. When someone applies for that condo, they know those facts, and they're able to make an intelligent decision. You know, all we really do, we show apartments, but what we really need to do is give people enough information that they can make an intelligent decision to rent the place or not rent the place. And again, like you said earlier about lying about a cat or doing this or doing that, you obviously don't serve the landlord, and I really don't think you serve the renter by having a voidable contract. And you know, just after so many years of seeing goofy stuff happen, you just learn it's just not worth it.